I'm Beth Barner, Project Coordinator of the USDOT Mid-South Atlantic Small Business Transportation Resource Center and the WITI Advisory Committee Chair. WITI is for Women and Girls in the Transportation Initiative. And my leader is Mr. Hebrew Dixon, Project Director. And he will start with the welcome.
Absolutely. Family, friends, we are so thankful that you are here with us today. We are excited about what's about to happen, what's been going on for some time. We are extremely appreciative of those leaders that's going to share their stories today. You'll hear about that in a moment. But on behalf of the Mid-South Atlantic Small Business Transportation Resource Center, I am just so glad to welcome you today. The transportation is covered for 3 states. We service Tennessee, we service South Carolina, and we service Georgia. In the chat, you will find a request to let us know where you're from. We'd like to hear in the chat exactly how our outreach have happened at the results of that. And we just like to know kind of where you are, and then we can kind of frame that a little bit better in our conversation. When we talk about WITI, it's a historical thing with the United States Department of Transportation. It incubated in Atlanta several years ago with relationships at Spelman College and Clark, Atlanta, relationships with the Department of Transportation and with MARTA. Some amazing results from that. And some other time, we'll show you the video that was created at that time, but it speaks volumes to what's needed in the marketplace, and that's more women in the business, right? We have this women new certification program that started in July of last year. So that's something that's good. But the WITI is something special. The WITI is supposed to be a pipeline conversation. So we want today seasoned business owners. That's true, right? We have that. But we also want folks in the business to look at that stories. But just as important, that are those that are in the transportation family. It may be an administration side. There's careers, amazing careers in the Department of Transportation at the federal level, at the state level, at the local level for administrators doing the work, because that's really where the grunt of the work happens, where the policies are made, where decisions are made that affects our lives and our children's lives and grandchildren's lives. So we hope that in this process, you see some of those that may not be in the business yet, or maybe looking to get into the business as an entrepreneur, that you see a pipeline for you. That's the whole point of it today. And we're excited. We have other programs, the Bond Education Program, which we're kind of in the middle of with Nashville. Shout out for Nashville, Tennessee. We're looking to start one in, I call it the Southern Crescent. That's between Charleston and Savannah. So we're excited about some of the other things that's going on. We have an amazing Access to Capital webinar that you will hear about in August. There's some exciting things are going on. There's a lot of money being put in place. And today you're going to get an idea, a snapshot, a lens of how these young ladies, these seasoned professionals, these amazing women went about getting it done. So we appreciate you being with us, and just so glad that I'm here with you as well. Look forward to our day. Thank you so much.
Okay, on the screen, we have our agenda. Hebrew Dixon has just done the welcome from the USDOT Mid-South Atlantic Small Business Transportation Resource Center. The WITI overview is next by myself. We have our speakers, introduction. Our CEO roundtable talk will be with Miss Stacy Blakely, Selene Parker, Miss Sheila Jordan, and Miss Doreen Hayes. Then we will have questions and answers. You may also type in chat some questions that you have while our speakers are speaking. We have a survey and a closing. And now I will give the overview of WITI. This is the logo. WITI stands for the Women and Girls in the Transportation Initiative. Women and Girls in Transportation Initiative, established March the 11th, 2009. The president signed an executive order from the White House for the Council of Women and Girls. In support of this initiative, On September 21st, 2009, the U.S. Secretary of Transportation, Ray LaHood, announced the pilot entrepreneur training and technical assistant women and girls program. In 2012, the program was changed in order to reflect the inclusion of broader focus areas such as private partnerships and business development training and resources. The mission of WITI is to increase the participation of women in the transportation industry and prepare young women to become our nation's future leaders. The overview is the goal of the WITI program are to identify, educate, attract, and retain women and girls in the transportation industry. The program includes outreach, partnerships, business development training, WITI Advisory Committee, transportation internship resources. And at this time, I will introduce our speakers. Before we introduce our speakers, I'm going to mention we have two WITI Advisory Committee members joining us. We have Ms. Dee Dee DeMarks. Say hello. And
hello, I'm driving, thank you.
And Ms. Rachel Johnson from Nashville. Rachel, are you there?
I am. Hello, everyone.
Hi there. This is the advisory committee, and that's all I've seen so far on our committee. We have a stakeholder. Atlanta stakeholder is Miss Paula Nash from MARTA. She's have joined us, and I'm looking. Did we have any other stakeholder from Tennessee or South Carolina? I do not see it at the moment. Oh, yes, we do. We have Miss Tammy. Oh, Tammy Head is an advisory committee member. Uh-oh, somebody just popped up coming in. Could you please mute your little doggy? I'm sorry. I'm looking for our other. And we will go Miss
Before Miss Beth, if you don't mind, I just wanted to season a little bit. We asked our invitees today, our people that joined us, to say where they're from. So I just want to give a flavor for that so the panelists will know kind of who's out there. So we've got Tennessee's represented, South Carolina's in the house. Tucker, Georgia's with us. Forest Park, Georgia's with us. Covington, Georgia's representing. Atlanta's with us today. We have someone from Chicago. How about that? The Windy City. Kentucky's with us today. Knoxville, hello, Knoxville. They're saying hello from Knoxville. They're here with us. Columbia, South Carolina is in the house. Memphis is here. Decatur, Georgia is here. And Nashville, Tennessee is here. So just want to give you an idea that even though we cover the 3 states in this webinar world, we catch a few folks from other places and we invite them and we embrace them and love on them and give them as much rain out of knowledge as we can. So without any further delay, Ms. Beth, you have it back. Thank you so much.
Yes, we have Miss Tammy Head. I was trying to unmute her, another WITI Advisory Committee member. She has joined in. She was knocked off, got back on. But in the meantime, we will start with introducing our panelist speakers. We have Miss Selene Parker, founder and CEO of the Concrete Lady. Miss Stacy Blakely, owner and CEO of the Douglas Consulting Group. Miss Sheila Jordan, founder and managing partner, Knowledge Architects. And Miss Doreen Hayes, CEO of the Hayes Security Services. And our speakers now will give an overview, opening statement, and then we will go on to our roundtable talk. Okay, go ahead, jump on in.
So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having me and asking me to be a part of this panel. I'm truly honored. My name is Stacy Blakely. I am the owner, CEO of Douglas Consulting Group. We are a civil engineering solutions firm. I'm a native of Covington, Georgia, so I did see that someone from Covington, Georgia. So shout out to Covington. We are headquartered here in Atlanta. We provide land development services, stormwater management services, erosion control, DOT permits, and inspections as well. And I've been doing this for 20 years. And so it gives me great pleasure to actually be in business for myself and having the opportunity to provide opportunities for other people. Thank you.
Yes. Next person. Ms. Jordan, you want to speak on your overview of yourself?
Sure, I can go next. Hi, everyone. My name is Sheila Jordan. I am the CEO and founder of Knowledge Architects. We are an organizational development and training consultancy that services transportation and maintenance and operations. But most recently, I have also started another company, which is a technology company called AR for Transit. So we've been able to leverage our 12 years of working within the transit space to develop a digital technology around operations and maintenance. And we are piloting that within the transit space. And we're really happy about that. So I'd love to share a little bit more about how we were able to leverage that opportunity. I'm 20 years as an instructional technologist, so I've been in large ERP and technology implementations most of my career, fell into transit about 12 years ago, and I haven't left. I love it. So happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Okay, next up.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chelani Parker. I am the owner and CEO of The Concrete Lady. I've been in business since May 2014, and I have done projects at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, the Atlanta Grant Zoo, to just name a couple of things I have done. And again, thank you for letting me participate in this webinar today.
You're welcome. And Ms. Hayes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Doreen Hayes, and I serve as the CEO of Hayes Security Services. We've been in the business for 37 years. I co-founded the company along with my husband, Donald Hayes, who is an engineer and IT guru, has been for the last 37 years. Recently, our son, Nicholas Hayes, joined the company. He has his master's in IT and entrepreneurial law. So he's brought us up with all the latest technology. And my daughter also serves as the administrator, and she is currently enrolled in Morehouse Medical in the informatic program. So we're, as you see, trying to do everything up-to-date technology. And I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for asking me. Come.
Okay, you're welcome. Now, the first question that we're going to ask the panel to start off discussing is, how did you start your company? Jump right on in, anyone.
I'll jump in. I started my company while I was still in corporate America. I knew that I was not the type that wanted to retire from corporate America, and I wanted to be able to do something different, right? You know, engineering, especially civil engineering, is predominantly white male dominated. And I wanted a space where women and people of color would have a safe space to come and be able to create and to truly be themselves and manifest the best that they had to manifest. And a lot of times when you are a female, especially in a male-dominated field, it's hard to do that. And so that was one of the main reasons that I started my company. And also I started it because I wanted to leave a legacy to my children. We have 4 boys. And so, you know, if they choose to take on the company, they have that option to do so. But if not, you know, they have the opportunity to create generational wealth or sell it and invest and do whatever they would like to do. And so those were the main reasons that I started my company.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on that. So I was in the technology space and doing, again, large ERP and EAM implementations globally, all over the world. So never saw myself falling into transit. but through a wonderful project at MARTA many, many years ago, I fell in love with transit, and especially operations and maintenance. It's a space, it's a department that, typically doesn't get a lot of love, right? It's the mechanics, it's the shop floor, it's the operations, they're fixing buses and trains. But for me, what I saw was a way to come in and make a change in a place that was inviting and that needed my help. And so they were welcoming, and I was able to fix some stuff. And once I did that, it was like, I'm hooked. I love this space. They appreciate what I do, and I haven't left. And so never thought of myself as a transit girl, but I can get on top of a bus like, like most women can, right? So it's been a really interesting journey to be in a space that is, just as Stacy said, very male dominated and oriented. And then now with this new twist, bringing in some really new technologies that help them in terms of productivity and efficiencies on the shop floor, using advanced technologies like 3D and AR, augmented reality. They hadn't seen it before, but because it was ripe for change, it was an opportunity for me to step in. And yes, it's been a challenge because I'm a woman and I'm a Black woman in advanced technologies in maintenance. So it's been an interesting interesting journey for me.
Thank you for sharing. Let's go with the same order each time. It makes it easy.
Okay. Ms. Hayes?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought Ms. Parker was going. I started the company, co-founded it in 1980. Actually uniquely started. My husband was a manager of a business called Rollins that used to have a security division, and they chose him as one of the young entrepreneurs to go down to New Orleans to run their branch of about 10 technicians and everything. So during that time, like ADT and all of the other companies, your security systems were leased. So, and they would be large businesses, of course, and small homes and also large homes. So while he was doing the dispatching of his technicians and everything, I would come in the evening time, and the phones would be ringing off the hook for us to do service for them, but they did not want to lease their system, but they wanted to keep security. So I thought, oh, this is a business. So we did it for a couple of years, and it just got to be magnificent. So before there was internet or anything, I went to the public library and started the company, put it all together. And so we started it as an S Corp, and then we went to a C Corp in 1991. So our formal authorizations, you will see, start in 1991. But like I said, we've been in this business since 1980. And it's been very profitable. Some of the contracts that we currently hold are with Department of Family and Children's Services, all the counties in the state of Georgia. And we also hold and we've had that contract for about 25 years. And we also hold another contract with DeKalb County, where we do the security and the maintenance for all the buildings in DeKalb County. And some of the unique buildings are, of course, the courts, and we have juvenile court, we have all the state courts, and we do also have, DeKalb has like an aging center. We handle all of that. So it's been quite unique. The problems are being a female in a male dominated white business. And we have succeeded because of our knowledge and our customer service, and people look for us and they find us, and we give them all the information and the clarity that they need.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, women. And next, the question is, what was the most challenging situation that you had overcome?
We got Ms. Parker. Yeah, go ahead. We haven't got about you.
Okay. Well, for me, and again, let me stress that what I do, I provide concrete and asphalt services.
Mhm.
And replace finished concrete is flat work, but we also do asphalt striping and the seal coating. So my most challenging issues in this industry, being an African American female, is that it's not that many of us women, period, in this industry, and so that alone is very challenging because number one, you have to like earn their respect and make sure they're speaking to you and not your superintendent or your project manager. So that's one of the challenges. And then two, for me, is that most of the time I am the first female boss that my employees have ever had, or the first Black female employer. So those are challenges too. And then other thing too, going to an industry, I don't come from a family that was in construction. My grandfather did it like 100 years ago. So I'm in industry that I am learning every single day. And how did I get into this industry? I used to do new home sales. So working in new home sales, where if you ever go to a new subdivision, there's nothing there but dirt. That's where I started from. So I did that from 2004 to 2008 in the economy crash. So I went from there to property management. And so that would pique my interest in getting into construction. And I met some colleagues that was doing this, providing concrete services, but on a much smaller scale. And like Ms. Stacey was saying, when you have that entrepreneur spirit in you, and I come from retail and real estate. So, you know, it's like, how do you become the concrete lady? But I tell you this, when God puts something on you, just trust him, have your faith, provide great customer service, and nothing's gonna come easy. And remember, because you're a female, it's gonna be even harder. Mm-hmm. So, and you got to have the right team, you got to have the right partnership, and you just got to just have that drive because you can do it.
All right, thank you.
Next. Ms. Stacey.
Yes, ma'am. So challenging situation for me, again, being a female in the engineering industry, and for me, my most challenging moments have come from the stereotypes of, you know, I'm not a male, so I don't know the industry as well. I'm a Black female, so I don't know the industry as well. And so just not necessarily having to prove myself, but just having to understand and know my craft, understand my craft. Other challenging situations have been in instances of racism. And I'm the kind of person that I just can't let things slide. And so I've had occasions where I've had to stand up, not only for myself, but other people have come to me for things that have happened to them, and I ended up standing up for them. I guess I was just built for this, you know. But the taking on those things, I mean, they can be weighty, but at the same time, understand that we have to start standing up for ourselves. If we don't, no one else will. I got called everything but a child of God behind my back, of course, because they didn't have the, you know, didn't have the courage to say it to my face because they knew it was all lies. But just being able to overcome that and just know in the end, you know, as you continue to be yourself and do the things that you were called to do, that in the end, that the right that you're doing will overcome the wrong. So even in challenging situations, I just really want you guys to be encouraged and know that it does work out in the end.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll definitely confirm that. For me, it has certainly been being overlooked in a room of men, in a room of men who none of them look like me. And transit is not just all male, they're white male and they're old white male. And so there is a whole level of approval and scrutiny that comes with a Black woman walking in the room, being confident, right? Knowing what I know about their equipment and being challenged. I have had, you know, and certainly I'm in the room with the people who have the money and call the shots. And so, you know, they love what I do. I can do the presentation, and then they're waiting for the owner. And I'm like, yeah, that would be me. And I have had people in the room who literally say, you mean this is your company? Yes. You mean you own it? Yes. So this, you own this, and literally, like I'm not even able to convince them that it's me. So, you know, that's a challenge, because at the end of the day, I know the first time that it happened to me, I walked out of the room and I was literally shaking because I kept saying, they don't believe me. And then you start questioning yourself. Was that, what did I say? How did I? And you have to understand that it is not you, it is them. And I had to be able to build up the tenacity, to be able to understand that I could walk in that room and be as smart as or smarter than everybody that was sitting around that table, even when they didn't look like me. And that takes a lot. That takes a lot, because that's not how, you know, traditionally we were raised. But it took me a minute. You know, I can't say, you know, I just walked in there and I was the baddest, you know, woman. I had to learn that. I had to really go inside of myself and really understand that I didn't need to question myself, that I knew what I was doing, and that I just needed to stand within that. And, you know, that's easier said than done. So I don't want to come off like, you know, just do this. It takes a lot, and you got to dig deep. You got to dig deep. I walked out of that first meeting in tears, getting on a Long Island Railroad train with my suitcase and my presentation, in tears. But you build up the fortitude and the strength to understand that you belong. And I remember listening to Oprah one day in one of those moments when someone asked her, you know, how did she feel walking into those meetings in those $1 million rooms, right? She said, I always went into those rooms and understood that I had a seat at the table. I belonged at the table. So I just had to start saying that to myself, right? And so, and I think that that is one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself in order to push you through those hard moments.
And I want to add something to this too. Bosses speak with bosses. If you own your company, you don't need to speak to a secretary. Believe me, I have left a meeting and when I answer the phone until I got an email saying that, oh, the owner wants to speak with you. So again, as she was saying, you know, it might feel uncomfortable and it will shake you up. But remember, you are the boss and you own your company. So you can walk out. And trust me, if they want to deal with you, they will call you. So bosses deal with bosses.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Yeah. Something, you know, you have to go do that. Mm-hmm. You have to sometimes. Because like I said, Ms. Stacy was saying, you know, the stereotypes, you know, Ms. Sheila was saying, you know, they don't believe that you're the boss. They always think that you're the representative. Mm-hmm. And so you have to walk in and let them know, you know, that you're the owner and don't accept less than that. Because once you accept that, trust me, it would not stop.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes, so one of the challenges, of course, is being in a male-dominated white industry. And so my biggest tip would be, I always say a little prayer before I walk in and remind myself that I'm the righteousness of God. and all things can come to me. So when I go in there with positivity. I own the room, I own the space, and they're asking, who are you and where you've been our best kept secret? How can we partner with you? How can we do things with you? So that has been one of the things that we have been working on. And so the challenge would be making sure that we have the right infrastructure, making sure that we have the right technicians, making sure that we can do these jobs with 100% satisfaction, because that is the reputation that we have. And it's a little bit easier for me is because I have my support system of my husband knowing the construction industry, knowing the players in there, and they've dealt with him and now they're dealing with me. And now bringing in my son, and we come in and we command the room, and you just have to own the room and not let it be such of a challenge to you, because they're looking for you to come in, as Celine said, and talk to the secretary or talk to somebody else. But no, I'm owner of the company, so I want to speak to the owner. And if you're not the decision maker, then call me back when you have time for the decision maker. And it usually works out really, really good for us. And one other point that I must stress is learn your craft. And one of the best ways to learn your craft is through Hebrew Jackson and also Mr. Jackson. They teach you everything that you don't know. Anything that you have a doubt about, you can go to one of them and they will give you that information. If you learn your craft and you sit in all these classes, every class that is available, sit in it and learn something. Hebrew and I have been in so many classes together, learning and getting more and more with our craft. And that's the biggest way that you can succeed, is know what you're talking about when you go in the room. And they know what you're talking about if you say it the right way. But if you go in there and you just don't know what you're talking about, making up stuff, they'll know what you don't know. So learn, get in these classes, learn your craft, and you can command the room and you can get the contracts.
I have a question in chat. It says, after each of you got your certification and established yourself, how long did it take to get an actual government contract? And was it difficult for you to establish the connections necessary to bid on contracts? What was your approach?
I can take that one. Oh,
Sure.
you want
go
Stacy
ahead.
to take that one first? We're going in order.
Anyway,
Go ahead,
It's
Mr.
fine, you roll with it. It's fine. Go ahead, Ms. Young.
I'll defer to you, Sheila, because all of my contracts are private, so I actually don't have any government contracts.
Yeah, so for me, I get that question a lot because I'm certified in, I think, about 35 states now. So I can do business almost everywhere. So one of the things that was really important for me coming out of just, public sector business and private sector business was the certification is just a tool in my toolbox. Right. And so for me, I went in to establish the relationships well before I got the certification. Because the certification is not a crutch for me, I needed people to be able to see and experience what knowledge architects could do for them with or without a certification and that tool. It is a very, very good tool, and I use it as often as I possibly can. But I want to say that you can't just get the piece of paper and the certification and walk into the office and say, now give me a project. So what I did, because I had been really new to transit, was I believe in giving something first, right? I'm there to prove myself. And so you have to find opportunities where you can give something before you ask for something. And so I would go in and do maybe a little assessment and maintenance. I'd do a business process and help them fix something. And I built trust within those agencies with particular people, right? Because all business is personal, right? People do business with you because they trust and they like you. So I did that first. I said, here I am, how can I help, right? And so then in the background, as that certification paperwork is working, now when the tools in my toolbox start collecting, when I go to bid on something, or when they call me and say, look, something is coming up and it's got your name on it, we'd love for you to bid on it. Now I can start using the tools that I have in the toolbox. And that is the way you establish credibility. And it is a good way for you to understand how government processes work. So and I see a lot, and I'm only saying this because I see this so much, where people think that certification is the golden ticket. It is not. It is just one of the tools you have available to you to leverage once you have established yourself as a credible business partner to whomever you are going to sell to. So I'll stop there.
What's it?
I
Someone
would
else?
say to definitely take every class that you can. Before I even got my business license, I started taking classes at the SBA. Then from the SBA, I learned about Georgia Tech, and some kind of way I learned about class that Mr. Henry Ditson was one of the instructors of. What was that? Because I'm having.
Oh, that was the one of the bond education programs you were in.
Yes, so most definitely learn as much as you can, wherever you decide to be in, make sure that you learn as much as you can. And of course it helps, like Miss Hayes, she has her husband, and Miss Stacy, she, has help. But when you come into an industry like me and you don't have a partner and you don't have, the experience. So for me, believe me, I learned pretty much a lot of things on Google and YouTube. Don't be ashamed of it. Besides the classes, because my industry that I'm in, safety is number one. So safety is a priority in my field. So I'm always, and I'm in an industry that's always constantly changing. So most definitely take all the classes that you can take, and most classes are free. And from taking these classes, I got my certifications, and I attended every event that I could. And Mr. Dixon, he can tell you that. I would make sure that I talk to every person in that room, not just general contractors, but other colleagues, because you never know who you can team up with. So I would make sure that I speak to every person in that room. And when I'm in classes, attend a class, I make sure that I have a one-on-one with one of my classmates, maybe get to the class maybe 10 minutes early or stay 30 minutes late, to build a partnership. You never know, because in my industry, everybody's a customer. So make sure that, you learn as much as you can. Attend, well, now we're in the pandemic, but everything is on Zoom. So, most definitely learn as much as you can about your industry, build those relationships, and cold call people, let them know what services you provide. If you call a company and see who's the person in that department that you need to connect with. So, and it can be done.
Thank you. All right, doing it.
Okay.
Well, my biggest thing is relationships. So I spent probably about 10 years just building relationships, wouldn't ask them for business. If they offered me a contract, wouldn't take it, because I wanted to learn more about what it took to make sure that this contract was going to work. So I spent about 10 years, like Selena said, going to every meeting, every networking event, everywhere that I walk in the door, everybody knows who I am and what we do. And so then after that 10 years transpired, then that's when I started connecting some of the people that I had already built relationships with to do projects with. So as they just told you earlier, having a certification is not going to give you a ticket to a contract, but a relationship, a person that you built a relationship with, a person that you have success with, they understand you, they understand what you have as integrity, and that you're going to be able to do the work when you take the work. And when you don't go in there acting like you're so eager, the first thing you talk about is a contract. No, get to know the person, get to know the people that you're working with, because the worst thing that you can do is partner up with somebody that you don't know, and it becomes a disaster. And in our industry, a lot of things are done through partnerships. So being certified is just, like she said, another tool in your arsenal. Be certified with every place, everything that you can be certified with, and get to be known as a good business, not just a Black business, not just a female business, but a person that will want to do business with you on any level at any stage.
Great.
Okay.
Good deal.
The last question that everyone will answer is, what advice would you give women and young women to enter the transportation industry?
So, were you about to say something, Hebrew? No?
Ms. Beth, read the statement again.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
No,
Oh, okay.
I want her to read the statement again now.
Let me read the statement again.
I guess, go ahead and do it. It's okay.
What advice would you give women and young women about entering into the transportation industry?
So my advice, and I remember things by acronyms, knowledge, relationships, and I'll add to that service. Knowledge, and this goes back to what the ladies were just literally just saying, is know your craft. Because when you walk in the room, automatically you're the secretary, right? That's what they're thinking in their head. I mean, let's just be real. Know your craft so that when the questions start coming, you can answer without a doubt. And you're not proving yourself, but you're just letting them know that, yes, I know my craft. Yes, I'm competent. Yes, I am capable. So, and honestly, that's a trust. That's where you first start building trust, right? I always tell people relationships, because your network is your net worth. And I'll speak to this saying, you know, my contracts right now, all of them are private. And honestly, they're through relationships. Yes, I have my certifications in my toolbox. However, right now, all the contracts that I have, they're all through relationships. And it's been great because those are through trusted relationships, right? And then I'll add service is the third component. And a lot of people don't think about this, but for me, I mean, that's just who I am. I serve, right? And so opportunities to serve as they present themselves, and I do them from an earnest heart, it goes back into building relationships, building trust. And so when people think of things and they think of opportunities, they think of me. A year ago, well, I really just gave life to my business like a year and a half ago at the start of the pandemic. And for me at that time, you know, since then, and I don't say this to brag, just to tie those three things together for you guys to understand, I'm now on the MARTA board of directors. I represent South Fulton in its entirety, not the city of South Fulton, but all of South Fulton. I'm the president of the National Association of Black Women in Construction, the Atlanta chapter. Again, an opportunity to serve and to bring women up and to grow them. I'm also on the executive board of the Airport Chamber of Commerce. I'm on the Aerotropolis Alliance board. I'm on the South Fulton Parkway Alliance board, again, because people see that I have an earnest heart to serve and I want to make things better and do things better and create a better environment for everybody. And so when people see that, they gravitate towards you. And those who really want to help you and really want you to succeed, they do that. They truly want you to succeed. They truly want you to be better. And whatever they can do to help you grow and to be that, they'll do that. So keep those three things in mind. And I call them Chris: knowledge, relationships, and a servant's heart. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I agree with Stacy, but I'm also going to say this too, that no one has said. Sometimes the best contract you can get is the one that you don't get. You
True.
know, okay, so we need to be honest about that too. Because I had a couple contracts I wish I never did, but I did do them and I finished them. So, you know, you live and you learn, but again, it's about knowing your craft, having a good team, and earning that respect. And I guess, you know, for me, because people know I don't physically do the work myself. That's why I say I'm constantly learning. I'm on my job site, and and what I don't learn on the job site, of course, again, I'm looking at um, videos from. I can Google construction, you know, large job sites, you know, things like that, because when you don't know, and people will quickly know what you don't know,
Mhm.
but it's your fault if you do not learn your industry.
Mhm.
So learn as much as you can and be able to answer those questions. I've been in meetings where I had to justify why I paid my employees a certain amount of money. You know, I'm sure nobody else never ever got asked that question. I'm sure they would never ask another Caucasian man, you know, well, how much you paying your employees. But you know, those kind of things that, you know, that I had to deal with. But luckily, you know, my guys, they proved their experience, you know, and everything turned out fine. But again, you know, your certification, and let me say this too, speaking of certifications, a lot of times people would take a class and they think that also somebody's gonna run and get them a contract. Again, it's about building relationships, getting people to know you. Then when you get a contract, it's an okay to start off small. You might get a contract, if it's $10,000, take that contract, because the next one would be 25,000. Next one would be, you know, $250,000. You know, so it's okay to start out small, but make sure you don't take on more than what you can handle. And whatever you do, do your best at it. Because the right people are seeing you and the right people are going to find out. So just go slow and just have your faith. And besides taking classes, join organizations that, you know, that will support you as well. Because it's a challenge being, you know, African-American female in the industry that we're in. But, you know, again, you can do it. Just make sure that you know that everything that we are saying today, that you really take those things in, because you're going to need it later. So put it in the refrigerator.
What's that?
I would just add to that, because all that is wonderful advice I wish I had 20 years ago, right? I think one of the things that helped me most as I continue to traverse a landscape that that is least familiar to me, because I know one side of my consulting business, but the technology service is certainly new, is to surround yourself with really good mentors and
Mhm.
advisors.
Mhm.
And some of them need to be personal and some of them need to be business.
Sure.
And I think, we call them a lot of things: sister circle, prayer warriors. You call them whatever you need to, but this particular, this stage of my career, um, being in this space at this time, has had a lot of challenges for me, because it's been, very new and very different. And I have found myself having to talk to people that I would normally not talk to about advice. You've got to be humble, and you really need to. I think that for me, the biggest thing has been surrounding myself with people who are willing to help me, and being open to that, right? And not having any doubt or insecurities about not knowing what I don't know. And, because I've always been the boss, it's been hard for me now to go into a new sector and not know everything. But my advisors and my mentors have been what has really made the difference for me in terms of being able to move as quickly as I have been in this space. And then the last thing I'll say is, um, always trust your instinct. As women, we tend to doubt ourselves a lot. And, you know, there is this little thing inside of you that you feel that gives you the tinglies. It presents itself in lots of different ways with all of us. But what I have learned is I gotta trust my gut, whatever you want to call it. But it is that thing that keeps me moving and pushing through the hard stuff and not giving up when others would give up with some of the challenges we have faced, especially in 2020, and having to, you know, pull back, figure out, pivot, and do all kinds of things. If you don't trust your gut and go with those instincts, then you're bound to make mistakes. So those are just some of the few things that I'd leave you with.
Have a question for you, Miss Jordan. Jordan, the question was from Miss Annette Rich. What processes did you go through in approaching her advisors?
Yeah, so I would look up people or get referrals from other folks that I knew. And I have done cold intros from LinkedIn. I mean, because I'm in a space where I just didn't know what I didn't know. And I just say, look, I've read about you. You seem to have some of the qualities and knowledge and experience that is similar to an industry I'm going in. Here's what I'm trying to do. I'd really love to just talk with you and to, you know, pick your brain or understand this industry a little better. And you would be surprised at how receptive people are to that, because everybody wants to know that, you know, you calling them for something, right? They're the expert. And so that I have gotten advisors that have been with me for the last 3 years, just simply by reaching out and saying, look, I'm in an industry, I'm real new, but I see that you've done it before. I'd really love to understand how you did it. And that has worked for me when you're in a space that you have no idea what's going on.
Ms. Hayes?
Go ahead.
Yes, I have to echo what everyone else is saying. My biggest thing has been surround myself by people that are smarter than me. And that way I can learn from them and be that friend to the person that you're asking questions to. Don't just always be wanting something from them. Because just like I can pick up the phone and call Mr. Dixon anytime I need advice on anything. And if I don't have the person that I need, he can tell me, oh, well, you need to call this person, you need to call that person, you need to call that person. But it's because of our relationship and my ethics and my integrity that he doesn't mind saying, oh yeah, I recommend her for this. Oh yeah, call this person, see this person, do that person. And you have to be that kind of person. And what the lady was just stating before, I'm a person of faith. So the Holy Spirit kind of tells me what I need to do, how I need to do it, and when I need to do it, and how to trust in and who not to trust in. And so that is how I run my business. If you see it on my website, it'll say we're a faith-based business. I don't care who don't know, who care, whatever, because that's what we do. But we back up everything that we say with 100% guarantee. And we also do things ethically. You know, because you can go a long way if you do things ethically. What I don't know, I won't tell you that I know, because you'll see right through it and say, oh, she don't know what she's talking about. But I'll tell them, I'll get back to you with that information and we'll discuss it a little further. And I get better responses from that. And mostly for young women, pick a career that you really like and mentor. What I did for my children, which are adults now, found a mentor for them. If she says she wanted to be a doctor, okay, let's find all the Black doctors and let's talk to them and find out what are the ups and what are the downs? Do I really want to pursue this? When he wanted to be in technology and law, well, first of all, he had his dad, but then he had every other person in our network that we surrounded them by. And so now they become those mentors to the next generation. So that's some of the things that I have seen that work great for me is, most of all, just keep your integrity. Just like Selena said, if you don't know how to do that job, don't do it. Because the worst thing you can do is get into a contract and make your name where everybody wants to blackball you. If you think you can't do it, you don't have the right people, all the connections, don't do it. The next one will be the better one for you.
Well said.
Great.
Okay.
In closing with Hebrew, would you like to wrap up something? I have
I'd love to. Thank you, Ms. Beth. Thank you for the opportunity. First of all, just want to say thank you for the nuggets that you laid out, for all those that are on the call. And I challenge those that are on the call, if some nugget resonated with you, pass it on, right? Figure out perhaps who can benefit by that nugget. If you need this to be heard again, give us a call, because I've been in this thing a minute, but this is some really, really good real hard stuff that some of the people that may be coming in the pipeline, you can save yourself a lot of pain if you listen to these ladies. And not only listen to them on this webinar, but pick up the phone and give them a call, and try to see if you can earn them being your mentor, right? And I say earn because everybody won't be your mentor. You just got to prove yourself worthy of that, and that's real talk. Black business in particular, we need to be real aggressive in that space, because we got to bring everybody up. But some people, they're tougher to help than others. Let me just say it that way. So you want to make sure you do that. And secondly, I want to talk about our team a minute. Ms. Beth does a great job. She's amazing. She loves the WITI coordinator role. She loves being chair of the group, and the group's doing some exciting things. So we challenge the group to look at opportunities of ways to get these young ladies in these pipelines, shadowing CEOs perhaps, internships perhaps, paid if possible, would be great. As you remember your experiences coming up, when you had those touches back when you didn't know anything about anything, and someone just grabbed you, pulled you, showed you a movie of their life, right? That you said, I like that. I might want to do that. I mean, that's what we want to challenge you guys to do. And as it relates to our team, Joe Jackson, as was referenced on the call a couple of times, he's our executive director. Joe and I have been friends and in business for a long time, helping people, right? And he's all about it. We strategize every day, think about in the post-COVID, there's some say post-pandemic, I'm saying in the pandemic. We're not post yet, but
Right.
at any rate, because some people are, they didn't make it, right? Let's be real. Some people didn't make it. Some people are not living. Some people are not in business, and some people may need some help. So, right. And so we want them to make sure that they are clear about that. And then lastly, I want to share about our partners, 2 levels of partners. We have stakeholders that we work with every day. Department of Transportation, Ms. Kim, Miss Kimberly King, I'm sorry, and folks in Atlanta. We have people in Nashville, people in South Carolina. We can do any of this. We can have any of these conversations without those stakeholders who have the same level of conversations we're having every day. And then in Washington, there are some amazing people that you may never see that's in Washington that are pushing these programs and have just as much heart for the groundwork, but they're just not in it. They're up in Washington. And we can do any of this without the team in Washington to help us move forward and have conversations about how do we break through certain issues? How do we get the reality of access to capital? Not a conversation, but some real stuff, right? So those are things. And just again, thank you for sharing your heart today, and thank you for the work that you do, right? You're giving us these things, these little nuggets, as I mentioned before, but you're putting in work. And I know firsthand, it's not easy what you guys do, just not. And so for taking the time out today to share, it's just so appreciated and so needed right now, right? We need this the pivot word is so overused in my world, but we need to just go back to reach back and bring somebody, you know, just bring somebody up that looks like you if humanly possible. We just want to say God bless you all for the work that you're doing and continue covering for you as you move forward in your business and your personal careers.
Okay. Next, we have, and I put in the chat the link for the survey for this particular webinar we had. We'd love for you guys to type it in and copy it from the chat and put it into your browser and go in everyone's and complete a survey for this particular webinar. We can gain input from what we can do better and what was great that we'll continue to do. And the next WITI event will be the WITI Symposium webinar on July the 22nd, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And there we have the GDOT, Georgia Department of Transportation, Ms. Kimberly King, her staff engineers, and Goodwill will be there because they have a relationship with women and men.
Historically, women.
Yeah, historically women returning to the workforce, and they have them working with GDOT. Do you know what particular kind of jobs those are, Hebrew?
You know, they're labor jobs. They're carpenters. They're labor jobs as far as cleanup. There's some plumbing. There's some technical jobs. But they get the word out as best they can. They do a good way of training as well. I'm glad you asked that question though, because I want to come back in because I cannot be remiss in this opportunity I have to thank Vince Malone in Nashville for the work he's doing in Nashville. We were partnered with him with the bond education program, and in Nashville, there's some exciting things. The SBA Nashville, some exciting things. Greg in Columbia, Greg Jackson, his team, they're doing some exciting work, and we're just excited about what's going to happen in this transportation bill. So we have a motto that says, get ready, stay ready. You want to get ready because ready, willing, and able is what we're talking about now. And I say that in all purpose because we're ready, willing, and able focused now. So get ready, stay ready, because the money's going to drop. And the question is, are you going to be able to be a part of this process, or you be looking at it from the outside? That's just really we can make it. But thanks again for being here.
Appreciate everyone.
Any other questions? We had 2 questions. Now I'm like, okay, come on, folks. I thought we had some more questions. All this good stuff here, and all our people here, and giving all a heartfelt experiences, wringing out the rags, if you will. No more questions now. If you don't have them, you don't have them. But
we just have great comments. It says, thank you all for the information.
Okay.
This was
All right.
awesome. Thanks for the honesty. And those were the 2.
Okay, good deal.
Questions.
Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. And we for those that we had discussions with about this environment that aren't on this call, there's going to be an opportunity for you. So for those that are other CEOs that are women, we want to hear your story, right? We want to hear it because we know other people need to hear it. They need to feel it. They need to understand it. They need to be able to connect with it because they want to be like you. And then lastly, again, we want to get these young ladies in the middle schools and the high schools. We want to try to have some, and how to do that. We need some help with that, right? How do you connect in a pipeline way, in a post-COVID, current COVID way, social media, what have you. So some of these young ladies can hear these stories, right? So they can, when they want to grow up, they might not be like Mike, okay? That's just the basketball is on right now, so I use that analogy. But they might be like Sheila, they want to be like Darlene, they want to be like Stacy, they want to be like Celine, they want to be like you ladies, right? And that's what we want them to understand, because that's real. And they can get that, and I believe they can. They just need to see how, because some people just need another view, another movie to watch, right? All right. Appreciate everybody. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.